to cut some holes in my lorry. Oh, we've got off to a bit of a slow start because someone decided to be really hungover today. It's currently asleep in their car.
No, we still had to go to the shop and we still had to sort it out and wait for Brian to find the tool and everything. And stood down. You rely on a number of factors.
So we had a real trouble finding the right kind of screws. What did we end up with again in the end? What screws did we buy?
They're next to you.
What am I eating? Okay guys, hi. It's a rainy day, so I'm going to talk through what I did with the windows because I keep trying to film it while I'm on site and I keep getting distracted and confused, so I'm going to sit down and walk you through it right now like I'm studying for a test because I know that I will forget this information and I may need it in the years to come. So I'm going to put it all down right now and then I have no excuse. The first thing I'm going to talk about is how the frame was built. I didn't build this, Max did, because I've never done carpentry or joinery in my entire life, and quite frankly I've got so many projects on. Me to have done it step by step was just going to mean it was like even further delays, and it's kind of, I find it's a lot better to see someone do it and learn that way rather than try and, you know, sometimes figure it out by yourself, because that can just take even longer. So first thing is first, here is the frame. The frame was super simple. Now that I know how it was done, I can see that it's simple, but when you have no knowledge whatsoever, it can be a difficult thing to visualize, especially if you're kind of like visually challenged like I am. I'm definitely a visual learner. So literally, I can't remember the dimensions of the wood that I bought, but it was just from B&Q. It was like a little bit wider than it was thick, so it was like a long rectangular. You'll see it in the video anyway. So this is literally a really simple rectangle that Max has just like fitted like into each other. So it's literally like 4 pieces with these kind of joints in them, like a tooth. There's probably a proper word for saying this, but and then obviously it fits into that other one, which is like that. We bought 2 lengths, I think, and cut it into these 4. So there were 2 longer strips along the top and bottom. Max measured the window, obviously, and then created the frame to fit. So these 2 lengths were cut to fit up here, and these 2 lengths were to fit down there. The window will sit in it like that. The way we got around the slightly curved shape of the window was that he kind of put in these little corners and put everywhere I've drawn like 2 dots here is where I've seen screws going in and the direction that they've gone in. So in here, to create a seal for this lip, he put in these 2 kind of triangular pieces and screwed down into this bottom piece of wood. These 2 were simply screwed up into this piece of wood, but these 2 at the top were something I later found out is called a dovetail joint.
So it looks kind of like a jigsaw to me, how it fits together, but the principle is that if you're kind of looking like as a bird's eye view down, this is what it looks like. And so I've actually just realised, because I'm an idiot, that this is wrong. And I think the screws are actually going in like this. But anyway, this is the principle, and it kind of holds it together really, really securely. And yeah, I'm super grateful to Max for building these frames for me. And they did, I would say, like in another attempt, I think maybe a dovetail joint is quite, like, to get it right is maybe quite a skilled thing. And you might want to enlist the help of a carpenter to do this, because while these frames that I have are serviceable, they actually needed a lot of work. And this is not a criticism of Max in any way, because I can tell you right now that if I had tried to do this, they would not even have been usable. You know, I'm just like, I wouldn't even have known what to do. So I am so grateful, but they needed quite a lot of work to get to the point where they were usable and that they were going to be watertight, because like joints didn't quite fit in. The windows, like the one that I put in, I don't know about the other one yet because I've not put it in, but like this window was like ever so slightly on the piss, so it made actually sticking it in the wall of the truck quite difficult, and I needed to use quite a lot of wood filler and do quite a lot of sanding.
I sanded down any surfaces, edges and corners so they sat flush with each other, and then I filled in any holes and gaps with simple wood filler, and finally finished with a few coats of outdoor varnish
to kind of fill it in. So, but the end of the story is that, you know, it was usable, and I'm hoping it will work, and it will be watertight. It should be. So
now these windows, I if you've watched my other videos, which you probably haven't, please don't, because they're not great. I got some windows from a caravan recyclers, and it was really difficult because I had quite a style of window in mind, and I personally really dislike the modern caravan windows, which are kind of like they're like Perspex, and it's not often darkened in some way, or like have some kind of UV thing in them, and they're like bubbly, like they have like a bubble shape, they like bulge out. I really didn't want that. I really wanted glass windows, and I had to search for these, and I finally found some. They were kind of ripped out of like an old 1970s Sprite caravan, and I really liked them, and they have aluminium frames. So I bought them, but at the time that I bought them, I totally underestimated how I was going to make a frame for them. For some reason, I thought that I could just use a rubber seal like around a car window, and this is like a rubber seal here that I've coloured in black on the window, and I thought that this rubber seal would sit against like a car rubber seal, like not car rubber seal, like a rubber seal going around the hole that I would have cut, and that would have been enough. But obviously, I understand now, having put the window in, that was wrong.
I don't necessarily regret my decision to buy these windows, because I would never have put normal or like modern caravan windows in the truck. But if you are going to get these windows, just be aware that you will need to build some kind of sturdy frame, and if that's beyond your capabilities, then you need to have a think about what you're going to do about that. Don't make the same mistake as me.
So they have these aluminium frames. This is me badly drawing like I never know the technical words for things, but like the kind of like, it's not the hinges, but the things that hold the window open when the window is open, right? I'm going to sound like such an idiot. These things, anyway, so they are going to screw into the frame, and like that's how the window is going to move in and out. That's probably really badly explained, but it's the best I can do for now. So now I'm going to tell you how I actually put them in and how these windows fit together. Take a breath.
That makes no sense, actually. I'm going to show you the inside view of what we did first. Okay, guys? So, inside the truck, we have the metal, like, I don't know what they're called, like girders that run down. And then over the top of these, you have the wooden slats going across, right? And they're bolted to it at these points, and they run all the way through,
Like so.
What Richard realised, rather, I should say, is that the window, it just so happens that the frames that we had fit quite nicely like this.
So the bottom of the frame sat really nice like this, right? And then all we needed to do, so if you imagine like that's the frame there and its little thingies, all we needed to do was cut a little bit out of this top wooden strut going along, and the window top fits in just like that. And that's really nice, because then it's being braced against this bottom strut that's going along, and at a point in the near future I'm going to secure this, because right now it's wedged in real tight, because we cut it to fit exactly, and we cut this cut through the wood with a combination of an electric saw and a jigsaw. This bit just here. So if you imagine, like, you see the wooden bit without the frame, it's just like had a little chunk taken out of it, and the frame sits real nice in there. I'm then going to get some hinges and just bolt the bottom of the frame to this bottom wooden strut, okay? So the next thing we did, or Richard did, because I wimped out at this point, because I kind of hate power tools, actually. Doesn't bode well, does it? Well, I don't mind drills and stuff, but like the disc cutter was an unbelievable noise. So then we had the issue of that these were obviously in the way, so we cut like these steel things. Obviously we cut this one out as well, but that was easy because that was just a chung through, you know. We cut them at this point, these steel supports, with a disc cutter. And that was really difficult, because what Richard had to do, if you imagine this is a side view of the steel support, we couldn't just go like that, because we cut through all the way because of the angle of the disc, so we had to kind of like take a chunk out.
You can see here he's kind of creating a wedge, like cutting a wedge out, a bit like how you fell a tree, actually, to get the angle of the disc cutter in.
To allow us to get the angle of the disc to go all the way through, and even then there was one instance where unfortunately Richard, and like this is the fiberglass body, like right next, like it's bolted to the fiberglass body, and there was one unfortunate incident where, if you imagine this is the disc cutter, you know, crazy going in here, he did actually cut through the body for one of these 4 that we cut through. and that was unfortunate, but you know, I'll just have to seal that up with a fiberglass repair. It's not like the biggest deal ever. And I'm very grateful again for his help. This is what happens if you are amateur. Okay, so that is how we have fitted the frame inside, and it you know, the window is slightly leaning this way, so that was a little bit tricky, but we did manage to get it all in, and we got it in quite tight. All right, so that's what was going on inside. So we put that in first. We cut it all out and put it in first, and then what we did was to take we drew this inner shape, right, with a pen. We drew it onto the wall, the fiberglass body. And then we cut this out with a jigsaw. Well, Richard cut it out with a jigsaw. Nasty job, loads of dust. I am not looking forward to doing the next one, really, if I end up doing it myself, because it was just going everywhere, and it really made, even I like had like a respirator on and stuff, but it, like, where it fell on my skin, it really made it itch. So yeah, not nice. Anyway, I survived. Now I'm going to show you from the outside. Okay, so this is the outside view. And from the outside, obviously this is the frame, this is the hole, okay? This is the hole we cut. Looked kind of like that. So this is like the body of the truck all the way around here. So, and you could see the frame. The frame is inside on the other side. And so then we took the window, and the window, the only point of fixture, apart from these kind of hinges, is this line of aluminium across the top, which had screws in it. So
It has these bolts. I'll try and tip it up for you. So like that's the hinge that it moves on, and then obviously you've got it screwed into the frame all the way along here, and then you've got the hinges that come out like that.
what we did was we put the window on. So it's definitely a two-person job, because one person has to hold the window while the other person puts the screws in. So this is the window, this is the top line now sitting flush against the fiberglass body, and we put in also along this, the inside of this, because it's kind of like a lip, like that, and the screws go in through that way, but we also in here put in a layer of I think it's called CT1, black CT1, which is a sealant, like an adhesive and a sealant that Richard recommended to me as being the best for this job. So yeah, it's called CT1, and you can get it in like B&Q and stuff. So we put in a layer of that, obviously all behind here. And then while one of us held the window up, we drilled holes into the fiberglass through each of these and into the wooden frame, which is, if you imagine, sitting on the inside, just here. So, and then we put in round-headed screws.
You need to buy screws, because I didn't realise this first of all, but you need to buy screws that are like this if you're looking side on. Like that, right? With the notch. Because most of the screws that you can commonly find are shaped like this. Right? With the notch like sank down in here, but this is good, this is no good, because you are gonna then have it not sat flush against the thing, right? And water's gonna get in here, and it's just not a good situation. So it needs to be this kind of screw, not that kind of screw, and I think this is called a round head screw.
Okay, so drill your holes, you put your screws in. It was really difficult, and I did about 2 of them, but Richard had to do the rest because I simply didn't have enough strength, like especially because I was like, you have to like bounce on a ladder, like I just lacked the upper body strength to actually force them in.
So Richard did the rest, and that it sounds very simple, right? But this is the irritating thing about watching people's time lapses on social media and stuff like that, is because it all looks so slick and so easy and so quick. But I can tell you that this entire process for us to find the screws, to prepare the frame, and then put it all together, like it took 2 days, 2 full days of work. It's not, a quick thing, or it wasn't for me. But again, this is like when you're an amateur, things take longer.
Now, the window has these kind of extending arms that then screw into the frame, and that is how they kind of move inwards and outwards through like a joint that it goes in and out like that. But that mechanism at the moment is really, really stiff. I need some work because obviously these windows are like 40 or 50 years old and I haven't oiled them or anything, and I need to take back some rust on them. So all we've done at this point is just bolt the catch. There's like a little catch.
So that goes up, and then ta-da!
Attachment, which keeps the window shut, which obviously keeps the truck secure. So that is kind of between bolting in the like hinge mechanism and fixing these windows with a bracket to the wooden strut underneath is all that is left to do on this one window, and I have to repeat the process again for the bigger window, and I can't really say I'm looking forward to it, but actually the satisfaction of getting this done, and I've never done anything like this in my life.
And I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so proud of my friends for helping me achieve my dreams. Thank you so much. I love you guys. At the end of the day, I'm a bit of a stress head, and I probably made this a more complicated process than perhaps it had to be, but I do feel like there's definitely kind of a way in like the van conversion world that things are done, and if you deviate from that motif or that pattern, there's actually very little out there to help you. And so I really wanted to just show what I did, and that I'd done something slightly different to what I've seen other people do, and I hope that maybe this video will help someone.